Hello everybody, Sally the Empath here, and this video is going to be short and sweet. I just want to go over what the meaning of being an empath means and how I know that that's what I am above all the other things, as opposed to being psychic or a medium or spiritualist. I associate more with being an empath, and I'll tell you why. So, an empath is someone who simply can feel the emotions of other people or energies around them. Um, think of an empath as a sponge. Okay, so empathetic is a word that derives from empath. So it has to do with a lot of feelings and emotions and energy. So how did I know that's what I am, an empath? Well, I always would say and consider myself big-hearted, but even though I'm not a drama queen, and I hid this very well, I would always feel emotional. How do I explain this to you? And I'm not talking just like at the movies. Like when you watch a good movie, like The Notebook, you're like, oh my God, like not emotional like that. I think all women do that. We all are sappy when it comes to movies like that. But I'm talking about like I could enter a room and feel uneasy right away. And then I would sit next to somebody and within I'm a people person, so I would say, hi, how are you? I would always break the ice with strangers, okay? So I was never afraid to talk to people. But I've noticed that every stranger I would talk to, in the matter of like a minute, they would just drop their load of information on me, kind of like their whole life story. I never even asked specific questions. They would just be like, oh my God, my mother, my brother, my whatever, whatever. Oh, I had a long day. And then after like 10 minutes talking, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe I told you all that, but I feel better. So I always had that, I guess, aura about me, an inviting aura where people would just immediately know that they can tell me whatever was on their mind, and I wouldn't judge them, and I would just listen, and they could kind of just vent to me. Strangers. So I've always had that. And that's why I always excelled in jobs where I would be around people, even though it would be very draining for me, for my spiritual energy. I always excelled in those jobs. So for the longest time, I worked retail, which is like customer service, which is like with, helping people. And I always had the best ability to just like tell what people were all about, what would work for them, but in an honest way. Because I hate sales. I always hated selling to people. I'm the type of person that would say, you don't need that, please. 2 shirts? No, you could do 1. Which wouldn't be good for the company because they want to make sales. But I was always very genuine, very honest. And I think that's why I also excelled, because people could tell I was being sincere. So one of the reasons that I knew I was an empath above all is that I had the ability for people to see that they can unleash all their emotions on me, and I would just listen with no judgment. And then I would notice that people would feel better. So I always, like, I felt warm to my heart every time I know that person released like a burden, whatever was on their mind, or whatever. Maybe they just needed someone to talk to, and I had to be there at that moment. But I never made the connection until later on in life. So I always knew that people always were able to do that around me, but I didn't know why. Now, further in my life, as I did start to pay attention to this, then I started realizing that a lot of the things that I was feeling wasn't my feelings. And I struggled with that because I'm like, why am I so irritated right now? I would say that to myself. I would be somewhere and I could feel, I guess, like a relative being frustrated, or I could feel like somebody really sad. Oh, this happened a lot with my sister. I would say I could just feel like sadness, right? And then she would come to my mind, and then I would call her. And I was like, hey, what are you up to? Thought I'd call you. And then she would say, oh, it's just, I had a bad day. I'm going through stuff, whatever it is. And it was like, wow, see, that was, again, my spirit guides or my source connection telling me you have to reach out to this person. So I realized that's really, truly what I am. I may have other abilities, other gifts, but my strongest one is being an empath. So I can sense people's emotions. I can feel what they're feeling, so much so that I can look at them and be like, and kind of give them answers for things that they're thinking about. Like I've been in conversations with people where, a stranger, okay, a complete stranger, and I'll have a conversation with them, and they're like, wow, I can't believe I told you all that. And then I just like have felt the urge to give them like reassurance, and I'll say, you know what you're going through right now, and whatever the situation is, I would give them a message that they needed to hear, and they would tell me, oh my God, that was on my mind, or oh my God, thank you for confirming this for me, or wow, how did you know that? And it's not even me, it's just that as they're communicating to me how they're feeling, I would receive like I could finish their story, put it that way. So I have the ability to, you tell me what's your burden, I process it, I can feel it. It plays out like a movie. Okay. So it's like, you know, running the script. Like you're telling me what went on, and I can see it step by step by step. Like again, that photographic memory. So I can see you walking the walk in that motion picture of your life. And then I get an answer, and then I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I feel like this happened because of this. So I don't think that's psychic ability. It's like, again, it's more emotional energy, because I can't predict anything. I can't, you know, tell you, you know, what happened, what you know, all that stuff, but I can sense it, sense the answers. That's the best way to describe what an empath can do. So, you know, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. Now I am going to start conducting readings because I feel like I can help people with their burdens. Like I do feel like that is my calling, and I've done it with strangers here and there. So I want to do it more on a professional level now. So if you feel like you need to unburden yourself, or you feel like there's something on your mind and you need a little bit of clarity, that's like the best way to describe it. Because when you talk to me, I'll get that clarity for you. I'll hear the situation again. It'll play out like a movie, and then I'll get the answer. It'll just be fed to me like, this is why, this is what they should do. Again, you are the master of your domain. So no matter what suggestion anyone can give you, you ultimately have the control to a certain point. We don't have full control because there is such a thing as destiny, and God, obviously, He governs all. So we have a path, whether we like it or not. And we may think that we're choosing a certain path, but really, we just have multiple roads that lead to the same outcome. Because our destiny has been predetermined from our source. I'm sorry, that's the reality. We have all been engineered. We're a product. You know what I mean? Different DNAs combined. I mean, it's just a whole nother level type of topic. But just know this, that we have some choices that make us feel like we're empowered, but ultimately they lead to our destined path. Okay? So you may stray and say, today I'm going to go down this road. And let's say that wasn't the right choice. Well, it's just going to make you get to your destination a little bit longer. And then when you get there, you're going to be like, oh, now I get it. It all makes sense. So if you need a little bit of clarity, you know, I am doing readings now. I call it vent sessions. So you would call me on Bird. I'm not going to say nothing. I'm not going to ask you any questions, but I will give you the clarity that you need to answer the questions that you have on your brain. As I get them, I'm not going to make anything up. If I don't get an answer for you, I'm going to tell you. I don't have an answer for you. I'm going to dream on it, because I do have that ability to receive the messages, as you do too, in dreams. And you can ask for that. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to say, you know, spirit guides, God, whatever you relate to, just say, can you please give me the answer in my dream? Because that's when we're most vulnerable, and that's when our brains are not taking over our soul, and that's when we can receive messages the most. So if you do want to get a reading with me, I have a hotline I created for you guys. And that number is, let's see here, 408-837-1386. And also put it on the link below. So I created that for you guys so that we can chat, we can text, we can send photos if you have proof, or like, you know, you want to send me things. If you want to just talk about the supernatural, and like I said, if you want to do a reading, my fees are very, very minimal. I mean, I pretty much work off donations. So, you know, whatever your heart says to give me, you give me, because it's more about the helping, and that's about it. So I really could care less. But obviously, my time is valuable. Let's be real. We can't just give and not receive. So that's why you have to put some sort of monetary to what we do, because we all have to survive out here. So I work off donations. Give me whatever your heart desires, and then we can have a session. Okay. So reach out to me. Numbers below. Subscribe if you like what I'm talking about. And if you want to give me suggestions on what videos to create, if I have the knowledge, I'll put it out there. If I don't, I'll do the research, or I will invite someone in that has that experience in the topic that you guys request. Thank you guys as always. Spread the love.